Okay, I'm gonna nix the sound effects, the visual graphics. This is gonna be a pretty dry and boring video for most people, but um, I just wanted to share my perspective on feeling maybe a bit limited sometimes in getting to talk about Roundnet. And people might say, Ben, you make so many YouTube videos, please leave me alone. Like, that's why I don't subscribe, is because I don't want to watch any more of these. I get it. I think about Roundnet and talk about Roundnet, in the top, smallish little percentage point. And other people, it's just a small part of their life and what they can do for fun. For me, Roundnet has become, not just like this game and sport that I'm trying to pursue, and this hobby and this social, community that I've gotten to fall in love with, but it's also become a side project, a second side project, a third side project. And as far as getting to commit time to that, it's really fun, and I get a lot out of it from like the personal side of things. But a lot of my motivation is really internally driven. I'm not getting paid, right? As far as like external validation, I don't have fame for it. I don't, and this is not a dig. Like I just don't get the appreciation that I think is commensurate with the work that goes into it. And it's kind of by design, because a lot of the work I do is I really love doing like the behind the scenes work, the not necessarily thankless, but almost invisible things that make things better without people getting to see them all the time. And what I wanted to share here is just like, for me, I love talking about Roundnet, and I think I made a good video. You guys can tell me otherwise about why it's hard to talk about Roundnet in general. For me, it's specifically hard to talk about Roundnet, and I wanted to share my perspective in just having these many involvements and different expectations. Where right now you might be watching this video and you might be thinking, "Oh, that's Ben. That's the guy that makes those YouTube videos where he talks to people for way too long." Or, "Hey, that's Ben. That's the guy who is community leader in the Greater Washington area." Or, "Hey, that's Ben. That's the guy who isn't that guy like helps on the Round Network, like it's documentary stuff?" Or, "Hey, that's Ben. Isn't that the president of USA Roundnet, the nonprofit national governing body for the sport in the U.S.?" Or, "Hey, that's Ben. Isn't that the guy that like helps run the East Roundnet series?" And unfortunately for me, you're right if you ask any one of those questions. The answer is yes, and more. And what's challenging for me, hey, last one is that Ben, the guy who is a German professional Roundnet player? And the answer is yes. I get to claim that for at least a little bit of time right now. And because I have all these different, identities within Roundnet, and by design, I really try to section them off where they're their own projects. Yes, I get to work on multiple of them, and I learn from them and get to apply them to one another thing. But people also get to interact with those different things on their own, and I don't want to expect that people know what the connection points are between those things, because some of those things are independent. Like the work I do with growing local community, most of the people that watch these videos, I don't get to play pickup with them, and that's, I think, totally okay. Like me, you don't have to watch these videos to like hang out at pickup with your local community. You should watch these videos if you want to think about Roundnet and learn more about the history of it, and how it grows and how it doesn't grow, and how it improves and how it doesn't improve, and how we can work together on making it better. And for me, like, it's really hard to talk about Roundnet because I spend so much time like working on it, and then when I talk about it, I might be talking about one thing or another. And even this video is just like kind of tricky for me to figure out where you're coming in and listening to it from, what your understanding is of me and my perspective. And so I want to more and more be like really candid about my perspectives and my opinions, and like not hold back, especially from not just a transparency standpoint, but also from like an educational and contextual standpoint. Like I really don't want anyone to be lacking history and the context of how things have been, so that we all can like move forward together and not repeat mistakes as a sport and community. And sometimes I do feel like I'm holding back because I'm not sure how to convey messages in a way that makes sense to someone who doesn't have the context for me. So I'm like just throwing bits at a time. So I guess in a weird way, this is me kind of just like trying to share that I'm gonna give myself a little more grace with people maybe being confused. And if you are confused, I guess that's what comments and DMs are for, when people want to reach out and have conversation. And I'm gonna try to hold myself to a standard of like being more candid about things, but also on your end, try to hold you all to a standard of being more curious. So if you're like, "Oh, what are we talking about? Like, how does this work?" Like, it's not that you should feel like I'm gatekeeping. Like, I want you to be curious and excited about it. But yeah, I've been really struggling with how to talk about Roundnet personally because I have so many, competing ideas almost sometimes, like I'll debate against myself. So being able to share those different perspectives from one person is confusing, I think, right? Like, not that I want to talk out of two sides of my mouth, but I want to voice different opinions. And I want to be able to share opinions that are maybe not opinions, but perspectives or ideas that might be, you know, uh, go against conventional wisdom. And if I can share ideas that go against conventional wisdom, I think like the best way to think about this is trying to just open up more horizons for how we can think about stuff and not be so tunnel visioned on given ways of thinking. I think it's very easy to set up like a mental model, a framework for how to think about something around what's going well, what we can improve, how we can fix rules, how we can build community, and get stuck in those things, and then shut off the ability to like open up variables and discuss how those variables maybe could change or maybe how our assumptions are wrong. And I, just want to let you all know I'm going to try to do a lot more of that. I'll just questioning assumptions and questioning my own assumptions. And this is admittedly a pretty like light lift video. You might be figuring out I'm making a bunch of these right now before the end of the year. That is on purpose. So you're welcome for them, and thank you for watching. And if you got all the way to this part of the video, I definitely would encourage you to subscribe to the channel. There's so much content that I have put out. There is going to be some more amount of content that will come out. And last but not least, I just want to say thank you to, I shouted out a lot of like things that I work on and projects I'm involved with. Huge thank you to everybody, and you know who you are, who contributes to one or multiple of those to make those things better. They're all a team effort, and I don't pretend to claim credit for any one of those things on my own. And I think like that's actually another important thing is the confluence of just like so many more people working on team projects together is going to really do a good thing for Roundnet. So more on that kind of stuff in the future. And thanks again for listening to this little ramble.